Mel Gibson is a name that carries a weight of both admiration and criticism. He's a man whose rise to fame was meteoric, yet his personal life and controversies often overshadow his professional achievements. Known for his roles in some of the biggest blockbuster films of the 1980s and 90s, Mel became a household name. But along with his success came a series of public scandals that almost derailed his career. In his prime, Gibson was more than just a Hollywood leading man, he was an icon. His portrayal of tough guy roles in Lethal Weapon and Mad Max cemented him as one of the biggest action stars of the time. However, his career took a turn in the early 2000s when his personal life filled with allegations of racism, misogyny, and violence began to leak into the public eye. Despite this, Mel has always managed to come back, proving that the world of Hollywood is willing to forgive as long as the talent remains undeniable. Mel Gibson was born on January 3, 1956 in Peekskill, New York, to Hutton and Ann Gibson. Hutton was an outspoken writer with strong anti-establishment views, and Ann was a stay-at-home mom. Growing up in a large family, Mel was the sixth of 11 children, which gave him a unique perspective on family dynamics and life in general. His early years were spent in a strict Catholic household, and his father's views on religion and the world had a profound impact on him. When Mel was 12 years old, his family made the life-changing decision to move to Australia. It was a bold move that would shape the course of his life. While most young people would have struggled with such a transition, Mel adapted quickly. The move also sparked his interest in acting. He attended the National Institute of Dramatic Art in Sydney, where he honed his skills and began to make a name for himself in the Australian theatre scene. Little did he know his journey was only just beginning. In 1979, Mel Gibson's career took a major leap forward when he was cast as the lead role in the Australian film Mad Max, directed by George Miller. Mad Max was a gritty, post-apocalyptic film that became a surprise hit. The film's success catapulted Mel into the limelight, and he soon became an international star. His portrayal of Max Rokitansky, a stoic and tortured hero in a world gone mad, earned him widespread recognition. Following Mad Max, Gibson became a household name thanks to his role as Martin Riggs in the Lethal Weapon series. Lethal Weapon 1987 was a massive success, and Mel's on-screen chemistry with co-star Danny Glover made them an iconic duo. The success of Lethal Weapon turned Mel Gibson into one of the highest-paid actors of the late 80s and solidified his place in Hollywood history. By the 1990s, Mel Gibson had firmly established himself as one of Hollywood's leading men. His roles in Braveheart, 1995, The Patriot 2000 and What Women Want 2000 solidified his place as not only an action star, but also a versatile actor capable of tackling a variety of genres. Braveheart in particular was a game changer. Not only did Gibson direct and star in the film, but it also earned him critical acclaim and multiple Academy Awards. He won Best Director and Best Picture, cementing his reputation as a talented filmmaker. The Patriot followed a film that showcased his ability to transition from historical epics to action-packed roles. These films helped define Mel's career in the 1990s, and by the end of the decade, he was one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood at the peak of his stardom. Mel Gibson's leap into directing was nothing short of monumental. After building a successful career as one of the biggest actors in Hollywood, he took a bold step behind the camera. At first, many questioned whether the actor who was known for his tough guy persona could translate that same intensity into directing. The answer, however, came with Braveheart in 1995, a film that changed the trajectory of both his career and Hollywood history. Braveheart wasn't just another war film. It was an ambitious, passionate project that Gibson poured his heart and soul into. The film tells the story of William Wallace, a 13th-century Scottish warrior who led a revolt against English rule. Gibson didn't just direct the film, he starred in it as Wallace himself, delivering a powerful emotional performance. The film was long and tense and had epic battle sequences that were both raw and human. It was a film that captured the imagination of audiences around the world, and it was clear that Mel Gibson had a distinct vision for filmmaking. What followed was a string of accolades. Braveheart was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, and it won 5, including Best Director and Best Picture. Gibson's win for Best Director was a crowning moment in his career, one that many saw as a triumph for an actor-turned-director. It was a sign that his talents extended beyond acting and that he was capable of creating cinematic masterpieces. The film's success was a testament to his ability to craft a compelling narrative, manage large-scale productions, and handle the technical aspects of filmmaking with finesse. However, while Braveheart solidified Gibson's status as a director, his next project would prove to be even more controversial and personally significant. The Passion of the Christ, 2004. In many ways, this film was Gibson's passion project, deeply rooted in his own Catholic faith. It told the story of the final hours of Jesus Christ from his arrest to his crucifixion. The film was not just about telling a biblical story, it was about bringing a deeply personal vision to the screen. The Passion of the Christ was unlike anything Hollywood had seen before. It was gritty, raw, and unflinching in its portrayal of violence and suffering. Many were shocked by the graphic nature of the film, particularly the intense depiction of Christ's flogging and crucifixion. Some critics questioned whether the violence was excessive, but for Gibson, this was a necessary part of conveying the suffering of Christ. The film was also spoken entirely in Aramaic, Hebrew, and Latin, which was a bold decision that made it stand out even more. The reaction to the Passion of the Christ was intense and polarizing. Some audiences hailed it as a deeply moving and faithful retelling of the biblical story, while others accused Gibson of anti-Semitism due to the film's portrayal of Jewish characters. The controversy surrounding the film reached a fever pitch with protests and debates over its content. But despite the backlash, the film was an undeniable success. It grossed over $600 million worldwide, making it one of the highest-grossing R-rated films of all time. It also sparked a renewed interest in religious cinema. And for many, it was a defining moment in Gibson's career. Despite the mixed reception, The Passion of the Christ cemented Mel Gibson's place in Hollywood as a director who was unafraid to take risks. He had shown that he was not just an actor playing roles, but a director willing to put his heart and soul into his work. However, this success also marked the beginning of the challenges that would follow in his personal life. The intense public scrutiny and the controversies surrounding the film would eventually bleed into the next chapter of Gibson's career, one that would be defined as much by scandal as by his cinematic achievements. But even amidst the controversy, Mel Gibson's return to directing was a momentous occasion for Hollywood. He had successfully navigated the difficult transition from actor to director, and had proven that he was more than just a pretty face on the big screen. The Passion of the Christ demonstrated that he had the vision, the passion, and the determination to create art on his own terms, regardless of the criticism or the challenges he would face in the years to come. Mel Gibson's personal life has been just as turbulent as his career, marked by a series of public scandals that have left a lasting impact on his reputation. While his career soared in the 1980s and 90s, his personal life began to unravel in the mid-2000s, making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The first major controversy that put Gibson in the public's eye for the wrong reasons came in 2006 when he was arrested for driving under the influence DUI. During the arrest, Gibson made a series of inflammatory comments that would haunt him for years. He allegedly made anti-Semitic remarks toward the arresting officers, which were caught on tape. These comments sparked outrage, and Gibson's once sterling public image began to deteriorate rapidly. What followed were endless media reports about his behavior, with many people criticizing his actions as ignorant and prejudiced. The controversy didn't stop there. Over the next few years, Gibson found himself embroiled in even more scandals. In 2010, tapes were leaked of Gibson's abusive and misogynistic rants toward his ex-girlfriend, Oksana Grigorieva, with whom he had a child. The tapes, which contained violent and racist language, sparked a massive backlash against him. These recordings painted Gibson in a new, darker light, one that was far removed from the charming, heroic figure he had once portrayed on screen. The media frenzy surrounding Gibson's personal life intensified, and he faced public ridicule for his behavior. Hollywood turned its back on him, with many in the industry distancing themselves from the actor and director. It seemed as though Mel Gibson's career was over, and for a while it appeared that his reputation could never recover from the damage done. However, Gibson's ability to rebound has always been a defining characteristic of his career. Despite the public outcry and the damage to his image, he slowly began to make a comeback. He went through a period of self-reflection, and after several years of silence, he returned to Hollywood, this time with a new perspective. In 2016, he directed Hacksaw Ridge, a war film about the true story of Desmond Doss, a medic who served in World War II, without carrying a weapon. The film was a critical success and earned Gibson his second Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Director. After years of scandal and personal turmoil, Mel Gibson's return to Hollywood was a powerful testament to his resilience. Despite the years of controversy that nearly destroyed his career, Gibson managed to make a remarkable comeback. His path to redemption began with Hacksaw Ridge 2016, a war film that not only revived his career, but also proved that Gibson still had the ability to create extraordinary films. Hacksaw Ridge marked a new chapter for Mel Gibson. The film, which tells the story of Desmond Doss, the first conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor, was both critically acclaimed and commercially successful. It earned 6 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture and Best Director, and won 2 Best Film Editing and Best Sound Mixing. For many, Hacksaw Ridge was a sign that Gibson had regained his place in the Hollywood elite. His ability to direct a gripping and powerful story with a deep moral message demonstrated that he had not lost his touch behind the camera. The film also showcased Mel's commitment to telling stories with strong emotional depth, even when tackling difficult and controversial subjects. It was a reminder of what had made Braveheart so successful: Gibson's ability to craft narratives that resonated with audiences on a personal level. He didn't just make movies. He created experiences that left lasting impressions. And Hacksaw Ridge showed that even in the face of public scrutiny, Gibson still had the capacity to make films that could change the hearts and minds of people around the world. In addition to his success behind the camera, Gibson also returned to acting, taking on roles that were different from his earlier characters but still carried the same intensity. He appeared in films like Daddy's Home 2 2017 and The Expendables 3 2014, which allowed him to embrace his comedic and action star roots in a more lighthearted way. His performances in these films were met with warm reception, and they further contributed to his comeback, showing the world that Mel Gibson still had the charm and talent that made him a star in the first place. Perhaps one of the most striking things about Gibson's return was the public's mixed reaction. While some embraced his comeback with open arms, others remained wary, never fully forgiving him for his past behavior. Regardless, Gibson's resilience proved that redemption was possible even in Hollywood, where second chances are often hard to come by. He had faced the worst that the industry and the public could throw at him, and yet he had managed to come out the other side stronger and more determined than ever. Today, Mel Gibson's career continues to thrive. He's still involved in major film projects, both as an actor and a director, and his legacy in Hollywood is far from over. His ability to reinvent himself and his unwavering determination to keep making films have made him a figure to be reckoned with. While his past may always be a part of his story, it no longer defines him. Instead, Gibson has become a symbol of perseverance, showing that even after falling from grace, it's possible to rise again. Mel Gibson's legacy in Hollywood is one of both great achievements and deep controversies. He's celebrated for his iconic roles and directing success in films like Braveheart and The Passion of the Christ, leaving a lasting impact on the industry. However, his personal scandals, ranging from racist comments to domestic abuse allegations, have tarnished his reputation and continue to fuel public debate. Despite the backlash, Gibson's comeback with Hacksaw Ridge proved his resilience. He remains a complex figure in Hollywood, a man capable of creating cinematic masterpieces, yet still defined by his past mistakes. His journey reflects the town's tolerance for second chances, but also serves as a reminder that redemption comes with a price. Mel Gibson's journey through Hollywood is one of the most complex and dramatic tales in the history of the film industry. From his rise as a heartthrob in the 1980s to his fall from grace in the 2000s, Gibson's life and career have been defined by contradictions. On one hand, he's a Hollywood legend, revered for his performances and directing talents that have left an indelible mark on cinematic history. On the other hand, his personal life has been mired in scandal and controversy, leaving a lasting stain on his public image. Despite his controversies, Gibson's story is one of redemption and resilience. His ability to rebound after years of being vilified by the public demonstrates that even in Hollywood, where reputations are fragile, a comeback is possible. Hacksaw Ridge was his triumphant return to the top, showcasing his unwavering commitment to filmmaking, even when faced with the harshest of criticisms. Gibson's legacy will always be debated. Some will remember him for the iconic roles in films that defined a generation, while others will focus on the mistakes and moments of his life that went too far. But in the end, Mel Gibson is both a product of his time and a man who has constantly tried to reinvent himself. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying his influence on the film industry and the public consciousness. Hollywood is a place of contradictions, and Mel Gibson is a perfect reflection of that. A man who reached the highest peaks of fame only to fall and rise again, Gibson's story will continue to inspire discussion and debate for years to come. His journey serves as a reminder that even in the world of film and entertainment, there's always room for second chances, though they come at a price. Mel Gibson's biography, from his dazzling career to his infamous scandals and eventual remarkable comeback, clearly showcases the contrast between major successes and unfortunate failures. However, his legacy is not just that of a Hollywood star, but also a story of resilience and the ability to recover from the toughest challenges. From this story, we can see that true legends are not those who never fall, but those who know how to rise again after every stumble and continue their journey.